welcome to Unscripted. Yes, featuring our guest for the afternoon, almost said evening. For the afternoon, Esther Fitz coming out of Cleveland. Yes. If y'all missed, y'all need to check out the spotlight, the discussion, all that stuff, because she went off on these covers.
Just straight killed the cover.
Yeah, we're not gonna do like last week, because last week we had a guest on last week.
Anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen. I may plug up again, and we may just hit this music soul child. Like, lately you've been
Esther, reintroduce yourself out there for everybody.
Hey, I'm Esther Fitz from Cleveland, Ohio, repping for the music and the dance life.
Yes.
Songstress and Zumba instructor at the same time. Willie, are we all right?
Willie's checking some audio things. I think he changed some audio when she was singing, and he's changing it back to talking levels, I think. I don't know. You will never know what Willie's doing.
That's a good guess. Solid guess.
I mean,
Esther, can you talk about how the Zumba, they're both like forms of expression, I guess, to me, Zumba and singing.
Yeah.
How do you, are there a lot of similarities you see as far as when you do those things?
Yes, there are actually. They're both extremely freeing experiences where I'm the one of the best parts of myself, type of thing. But just as far as the Zumba, I think as far as the Zumba dancing, I feel freer. As much as I love music, and I always have, I always will, but I question myself.
Why? Do you mind sharing? Do you know why?
Sometimes I'm scared. Like, what if I go off key? What if I, miss that run? What if I don't hit all the notes in the scale on that run? I overthink music, but I won't overthink dance. I just do.
That's really interesting.
And so I feel free in both, but I feel freest when I'm dancing for sure.
I feel that. I never really thought about how the standards of one sector of art can sort of put pressure on you. When I was growing up, I was actually an art student. I'm not really that much of an artist now, but when I was in high school, I went to school for art, so painting, drawing, awesome. All this stuff. But I felt a similar way. When it came to poetry and writing, I felt a lot more free because I was in the theater and stuff like that. So I understood Shakespeare stuff didn't always rhyme. He learned to make stuff rhyme. So it was just real interesting. You know what I mean? So I felt a lot more creativity when it comes to that. When it came to drawing things, I felt the pressure to make it look 100% photorealistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had other folks in my class that had a different understanding of art. Of course, some of these folks are prodigies, and I was just like, what am I doing in this class?
Seriously.
I can draw, but that's how I felt.
It's the same. Some singers, you're like, oh my gosh, you can get crazy notes.
Right.
And you're like me, I'm like, ooh, it's a bad morning.
No, but you have I feel like you have a lovely voice, and I feel like Thank even you. When we were talking about the songs, you were like, well, even today, you say your voice is a little strained today, but you knew where you could go, and you were like, okay, I can sing these songs, I'm gonna sing this way, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just knowing yourself because of your years of experience, you know what I mean? You about to say something?
Oh no, I was gonna let you finish.
I'm pretty much.
But I think it's really important. That's a really good point of knowing yourself, knowing your limitations, not only as a whole, but in situations. There's situational limitations that we run into each and every day. The way I need to quote unquote behave in this room needs to be different in a different room. Not necessarily me being fake or me putting on a different persona.
It's being appropriate.
Yeah, it's just being appropriate, and I think that's that goes in art as well. Understanding if a visual artist is doing a showcase, what type of people are going to be there, what is the vibe, what are you looking for? Not necessarily because I am going to fit into what this is, but it's more or less I want to make sure I'm, for lack of a better phrase, emoting or giving off the best representation and bringing somebody into an immersive experience as much as possible.
Yeah, represent yourself well.
Yeah,
that's all.
I was talking to someone about this the other day about how difficult it is to try and be an artist and be your own boss because of the fact that when it comes down to being an artist, with me, when it comes down to being an artist, I have a real strong pride in just being an individual, doing what I feel is correct because it's my art. You can't really tell me how to express myself, and I take that as my base. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to trying to, a lot of folks, when they, at the end of the day, these artists want to make sure that their art is lucrative and that they're able to eat off their art. That comes to a point of marketing where you have to sort of feed the masses, you know what I mean? So in some cases you have to sort of compromise in some way, shape, or form in order to meet them halfway, so that you're not just doing, you don't pay yourself, essentially you don't buy your own art, you know what I mean? You have to make this stuff as some sort marketable. Same thing with music. Like, okay, well, what are people listening to? I gotta meet them halfway somewhere, you know what I mean, in order to get them to start actually peeping me. Same thing with visual art. Same thing with photography. You know what I mean? You may have something that people don't know they want, but you have to be able to get them to look at you first. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
So it's a fine line to walk.
And I think it's really important that even after you get to a point where like, oh, okay, this is marketable, this is kind of like appealing to other people. I think it's really important to still make sure that you're even though you're giving your art to somebody else, that it's still serving you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think in the process of doing what you love, it makes you stop loving what you do.
Yes,
and
that's my problem.
And in giving your art to others, you have to make sure that you aren't overextending or over exerting yourself as far as like not letting your art be your passion anymore. And I see that happen really often now.
It happens a lot, man.
It happens a lot.
It's a lot of pressure, dude. I mean, even as a photographer, I don't make music on that level to be trying to be like, oh, what's all the people listening to? But I shoot photography and I try to make money off of that when I can. But even doing that is stressful because of the fact that in the moment, people have their own expectations. I mean, they pay me to recreate their expectations essentially, and that's what I'm there for. But I don't. That's not why I shoot. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line. I have to kind of come to a point where I gotta be willing in order to shoot this stuff. You know what I mean? Or meet them where they can meet me halfway and give me some creative control over what's going on, so I can really do what I want to do and do it the way I need to in order to get what I want to get out of it. Because, like you said, a lot of these passions, whether they're like I said, like the visual, dancing, any of this stuff, singing, all that stuff is a way to express yourself. But at the end of the day, you don't want to hate your outlet for expression. You know what I mean?
I think that's why you need balance, though.
Yeah.
Like if you have multiple outlets and you can't really get overwhelmed or underwhelmed by anything. Because like I'd love to do music 24/7 all the time, but I'm not going to act like it wouldn't frustrate me, or I wouldn't get to a point of like where I'm like, I'm not even enjoying this anymore. Yeah. So then that's when I pick up something else I like to do for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if like money's the goal, then it's the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So just diving into your heart with your passions, and then being just disciplined in that, and then not letting yourself get overwhelmed by one thing. So just even little things.
And I think what's really important is to have a portfolio of passions. We kind of touched on this.
She definitely has a portfolio of passions.
Yeah, and her portfolio of passions, and it kind of making sure that they're not necessarily directly intertwined. I've noticed plays a huge part in it, because if this thing kind of plays into this thing, then it may be a domino effect of like how you get quote unquote tired or exhausted from things. But kind of like when you're able to not necessarily jump from one thing to another, but you're able to kind of refresh yourself when you're going to a different passion. I think that's really dope, and I think that is kind of how you keep yourself abreast as far as like staying happy and
dude,
and bringing joy to your predicaments and to yourself.
Having your go-tos that's part of the days. There's always something in the way. You know what I mean? Whether it's a bill, whether it's some family stuff, some obligations at work, whatever it may be, there's always something else on your mind. There's a reason why you're doing something. But at the end of the day, like, you got to be able to watch your ways out. You know what I mean? If you don't have a way out, you know what I mean? You got to find a way to deal with it, or else you aren't happy.
My people, we have made it through another Daze episode, another Daze of life. And if you're not hip to the Daze, you're a little late, but that's fine. We're rolling with a new look. We're adapting with the times. That's the Daze itself. But stay tuned. We got new content on the way, people.
If you happen to miss the past content we did for the past few years, you late. Go ahead and check all that in the links in the description below. Make sure to check all the info and get up to date as soon as possible.
And make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below, and hit that bell notification. And make sure that you follow us on all social media at the Q Brand and at _Daze_.
I'm Locke.
I'm Willie B.
And I'm AT.
Peace.
Cheer.
Daze.